Hi, welcome back to Raunchy Reality Recaps. Now in this video we're going over Kate Gosselin from John and Kate Plus 8. That reality show from TLC way back in the day. Now I'm going to go over the allegations that her son Colin has made against her recently. Now again, we're going to say they're allegations because, well, your girl don't want to get in trouble. And these are all my opinions. Now this is coming from the opinion of me, and I personally, as a child and throughout my childhood experience, kind of like a mom like Kate, from what he's saying that he's experienced, I experienced that with more towards one of my sisters and the rest of us, but kind of trickled down to everybody, really. But I was in a family where one person did get the brunt of it, and it wasn't a great thing to experience as a child. It was pretty traumatic. Now, in his article, it starts out at page 6, which I will link this below. It says, Colin Gosselin, Mom Kate institutionalized me because I spoke out about her behavior. Now, anytime we're talking about the A-B, you-know-what word that YouTube doesn't like to know, I'm just going to say the bad behavior. So you kind of get that. Now, Colin has made a bombshell claim that his mother, Kate Gosselin, sent him to a mental health institution in an effort to silence him about her alleged, I'm going to mess up myself, alleged bad behavior. I was starting to tell all my teachers that, my mother was, can I use the word bad, or are they not allowed to use that on air? Which, Colin, I agree with you. I never know either. So I'm with you on that one. When the producer asked Colin, are you trying to say your mother was bad to you? He responded, well, yeah, that's kind of the reason why she sent me away. I was starting to tell people what was going on at home, and she caught wind of that, and had to put me somewhere where I wouldn't be able to get the secrets out. The reality star further alleged. I hate to call him a reality star because really he was forced against his will as a child to be a reality star, and he's not one now. He's not on his own reality show, so I don't know why they're calling him a reality star, which, guess if he wants to be called that Colin is way more allowed to be called it, but I wouldn't call him a reality star. That kid was made to do that, and I don't think he ever got any money from it either, so it wasn't like he was paid for it when he was a child either. It was free child labor that his parents got from him, so there. Anywho, and just to put this out, don't we hear a lot of cases about things that happen to kids, and when they start trying to speak up, that's when the parents kind of, start passing them around to different family members or different friends, or, that's when, unfortunately, some of these kids disappear, is when they try to speak up, because, nobody wants that to happen if you're like Kate or my mom. So, anyways, says, of course, page 6 reached out to Kate's reps, but they didn't respond, of course. Now, the matriarch who garnered fame with ex-husband Joan Crawford and their septuplets and their two older twins, Maddie and Kara, previously denied any claims like that, any bad behavior claims. She told Good Morning in 2016 that she has been investigated many times, and that any claims made about her harming her kids were always unfounded. Kate sent Colin to the Fairmount Behavioral Health Institute, a psychiatric hospital in Philadelphia, in 2016 when he was 12 years old. The reality star told the public via the media at the time that she did so because her son has special needs. Now, I like to put that in. Yeah, I don't like these places. Personally, I don't like them. As a parent with an autistic child, and I don't know if I shared this before, but my son would be considered level 3. He's semi-verbal at 10 years old, and I wouldn't put my kid that, and no, one thing, you're putting him in there, and he was there, I think, for 3 years. It said 3 years you put him in there, and did she even go visit? So you're just basically sending your son away. You're not helping him. You're hurting him more, where he's there with nobody. Nobody's coming to see him. And she wouldn't even let John know where he was, so at least his father could show up and have somebody. Like, and Colin, you see the boy that Colin is, and I can only hope that my son is able to develop that way. I mean, I can do more than hope. I can actually do stuff to help him and make sure he's on the right path. But I can only hope that my son sits there and is able to overcome his certain developmental disabilities to be able to be a well-developed adult like Colin. Because he is. And so for me to sit here and seeing how well developed he is at his age, I'm sorry, but at 12 years old, there is no way that that child was so disabled that she could not handle him. Okay? I can handle my son. Okay? And I mean, I'm sitting here broke as a joke and can't afford no help. Have to rely on certain state services to provide my son with like therapies and such. You have this woman who made a buck, made a good dime, made a lot of money off of her kids, and she couldn't seriously have somebody come in that home every day to help Colin if he was that disabled that he needed to be sit off for 3 years. There is no way. That is just evil. Sorry, it is just plain evil. Okay? It's one thing if your kid is has developmental issues to where you can't handle him, they have aggression, and you know your 12-year-old's taller than you and he has a lot of aggressive behaviors to where he's going to hurt somebody. Yeah, I get that. But when you do it, you don't do it for 3 years, and you don't never show up for your kids. You go there every weekend. If you're going to send your kids off to a place like this where you don't really know what's going to go on, and main reason why I would never send my son off to one of these places, because really, who knows what happens at those places? And we hear horror stories all the time, and I'm not going to sit there and send my son off to one of these places to where nobody cares about him. And God knows what he comes back and what's traumatized him. So no, I won't send my son to one of those places. And I'm pretty much sure that she really didn't need to send her son there either. Not for 3 years. And not to sit there and send him off and never see him. Or at least give the information to his dad so somebody could see him. And I'm probably repeating this information. But y'all, this really irritates me. As a mother to a special needs child, to an autistic son, I'm sitting here going to therapy, sitting in a hot car. I'm literally sitting in a hot car right now. I got my little fan going in my car so I don't run my gas out. But 3 or 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, I'm sitting here doing this for my child so he can stay home, so he can get better. And that lady had literally everything at her fingertips to her that could have had got him help, but also kept him inside the home, yet she sent him off. So that's why I believe Colin, because I'm pretty sure the reason that she sent him off, and not because he needed that much help, not because he was so profoundly disabled that he needed that much help. No, I'm pretty sure it's why he said, because she didn't want anybody to catch up on to her ways. And let's get into this as well. Y'all, I'm so sorry if I'm yelling a lot in this, because this really hits home with me in both ways. In my childhood and my child right now. I mean, in my parenthood. So it really hits home with me. So to go on, it says there's a fairly fluid diagnosis of what those needs are, but he needs to learn certain strategies to help him deal with these things. Not for 3 years, honey, and not for never see his parents. This is a long struggle we have had for a very long time. It's one I dealt with on my own. I feel very alone in this. By the same token, it's not something that only has impacted me or him. Our entire family has been impacted. Yeah, sorry. I don't believe words she says. However, Hannah, who also participated in the Vice TV doc alongside Colin, backed her brother's claims that their mother allegedly treated him differently than the rest of the kids. He would be separated from us, she claimed in the episode, like he would not get to come and play outside with us. He would eat dinners at different times than us. See? And that's why I believe this. I don't think he made it up, because that's what happens when you have a psycho biatch for a mother. I had one of those. I swear. And she would go, the woman had therapists and everything, but she would lie to them. So, of course, they never really knew how messed up in the head she was. But I have a lot of sisters, and one of the sisters, my second to the oldest, would get singled out. And I don't know if it's because she looked like the most like my dad, and my mom didn't like my dad at all. But she would be the one that would get treated badly. My mom would lock her in a closet. I remember I was a lot littler. I don't remember a lot, but I remember my mom putting her in her closet, and she would lock her in there from the time she got home from school until the time she goes to bed. I remember her like sitting there, like, I guess, can't remember why, but I guess she wanted some cake, and I can't remember exactly why, but I remember my mom forcing my sister to eat a whole chocolate cake. Okay? Stuff like that stays with you for years. And you know it as a kid. And you know there's something wrong, and you can't do anything about it. And it stays with you for years. And this person that you're supposed to love is the one that's treating you bad and treating one person in your family like horrible. And you're sitting here trying to wonder, like, are we supposed to like not like this person, not like our sibling or something, because there's something wrong with them? Because they get in trouble a lot. Like, my mom had me thinking for like the longest time when I was a kid that my sister was awful. She was evil. She was a demon. She just was this problem child. She was so bad. Like, I literally thought growing up like my sister was like the worst person in the world, because my mom put that in my head. She would drill it into my head because they brainwash you to think that, because they have to have control over something. And you see how Kate is. She has to have control. And when they don't have control, they lose it. And I can guarantee you, the second she didn't have control over John anymore, is exactly how Colin said. She took it out on him. Because she needed somebody to have control over. And I tell you right now, I hope none of those kids have kids themselves and let Kate around them, because she'll do the same exact thing to the kids as well, to the grandkids. She'll pick one out and she'll target that one, and that's how it's going to be. So I hope these kids, if they ever hear that, never let that woman around your kids. She's not a grandma. She won't be a grandma. She will find the one that's the weakest, and she will target them, just like she did with her own kids. Okay? Because I guarantee you, Colin was the sweetest one. Colin was the one that didn't fight back, or, the one that was the most sensitive. I can guarantee you that, and that's why she targeted him. And it's sad, but it really happens. And that's why I believe Colin, because it's believable, because I went through it as a child. And I still feel bad for my sister that had to go through way worse than all of us, because my mom is a terrible person. But yeah, so she like, again in the article, I'm going off, but she goes over everything. And it said John, who divorced Kate in 2009, was unable to know his son's whereabouts at the time because he did not have legal custody of his kids. However, Colin sent him a handwritten note by Crowns in 2018 begging for him father to free him from the institution. And being in an institution took a toll on me mentally. It was really, really dark place. All I had was myself. I didn't have anybody else. I had no support system. It was scary. I was confused. I was lost. And it said John in 2018 filed for legal and physical custody, and he spent like over $1 million of his own money trying to get his kids. And I'm going to go ahead and end this at that, because I just wanted to go over it and everything, and just put my opinion in there as being a child that, could my mom and Kate Gosselin could very well end up being friends if they weren't such horrible people. They really could be, because they're just alike. And I just wanted to put that out there, because I think it's horrible what he went through. It's horrible what all the kids went through. I don't understand. I'm saying I don't understand, but really you can't understand it, because their mind's just warped like that. You can't understand that. The fact that instead of giving him to his father, since you didn't want him anymore, you put him in an institution and just leave him there for 3 years. Like, that's any better. And the only reason you didn't want to give him to John is because you didn't want John to win anything. You didn't want to lose control. As long as Colin was off, he was out of your hair, but you still had control of him. So I think Kate Gosselin is just a horrible person. And if y'all want some deep dive into this as well, I will be happy to deep dive into this woman, into this horrible woman. So y'all have a great day. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye.